The truth is, we know everything about other people's lives and nothing about how to live our own. But relax, take a breath, wipe that anxious sweat off your forehead and sit down. Because today, you're going to discover that there is a philosophy that can save you. But be warned, it comes with a slap in the face and no anesthesia. The Last Descent. Freedom today has become a voluntary sentence in a collective prison. In truth, you're tired, indebted, watched, and distracted, yet you still believe you're free. Because they taught you to confuse autonomy with consumption and dignity with performance. Look around you. There are people with 2 degrees, 3 jobs, and no peace. There are rich people who can't sleep. There are influencers who smile with their faces but bleed with their souls. There are children born in debt and elders who die without rest. And yet the world keeps applauding because the spectacle of submission needs an audience. Don't get me wrong, life was never easy. But in the past, man knew where it hurt. Today, the pain is diffuse, the anguish is silent, and the emptiness arrives neatly packaged at your doorstep. You traded meaning for pixels, truth for trends, and being for filters. There you are, sitting in your ergonomic chair, wearing noise-cancelling headphones, managing a digital calendar, your productivity through the roof, yet still feeling like you're losing life while trying to conquer it. There's no time left for contemplation, no space for silence, and when there is, you rush to fill it with more content. Because we can't stand being alone with our own minds anymore. We've been trained for everything, except life. And do you know the most ironic part? Everything I just said, you already felt it. Deep down, you've always known. But it's easier to keep pretending everything's fine than to face the sandcastle you helped build yourself. Everyone thinks they're unhappy because they're missing money, time, or someone to love. But maybe what's really missing is common sense. Yes, creature. Have you ever noticed that most of your anguish doesn't come from the universe or your zodiac sign? It comes from within. Something much deeper. You spend your entire day chasing ways to survive, doing what you're told, eating whatever's available, sleeping badly and waking up worse. And at the end of it all, you still have to smile on social media and pretend everything's fine. But tell me, when was the last time you actually thought? And I don't mean about your debts or your next promotion. I mean really thought about who you are, what you feel, and why you accept so much suffering so naturally. You were trained to believe that living means carrying a burden, but no one taught you that you can look up at the sky. That's where philosophy comes in. But calm down. I'm not talking about those old men in robes arguing about whether reality exists. I'm talking about something that applies to you, to me, and to everyone drowning in a sea of meaningless obligations. You know what's curious? The most important questions in life are the ones we avoid, because answering them takes courage and deep reflection. Courage to admit that maybe the world isn't to blame. Maybe it's the way we choose to see and interpret the world. Ever stop to think that maybe the greatest prison of your time is what you've learned to call freedom? Look, it's not that you aren't free. You can choose your ice cream flavor, your car model, and your dog's name. But try living without obeying the system. Try existing without paying for it. Try saying no to what's been imposed as right. You can't. What the hell? What controls you lives inside you? Some people think the world's problems are out there. The government, the boss, the neighbor, the traffic, the stars. But the truth no one wants to hear is that almost everything that imprisons us lives inside our own heads. And worse, the key to the cell is there too. It took me ages to understand that. I used to think I had to control everything. Fate, people, the weather, other people's opinions, even the Wi-Fi. But not myself. Until life slapped me across the face, the kind of philosophical slap that knocks you down and asks, "So, genius, are you going to control the world or finally learn to breathe?" That's when I came across a quote from a man who really knew his stuff. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. His name was Epictetus, a crippled ex-slave. Someone who had no luxury, no power, no freedom, but had clarity. At first, I didn't pay much attention. I thought it was beautiful, but too poetic. Until reality came for me and forced me to learn the hard way. When everything around you collapses, the only fortress left standing is you and your mind. Have you ever thought about how much energy we waste trying to fix the external world? Wanting people to like us, wanting the future to come with a warning, wanting chaos to follow our plans. We live anxious, trying to put out fires in forests that aren't even ours. Meanwhile, we forget the only flame worth keeping alive, the one inside our own consciousness. Now I know, true freedom isn't about changing the world, it's about changing yourself and the way you see things. It's a silent revolution, intimate, with no flags, no protests, no likes, just you against yourself. And make no mistake, this isn't conformism. It's not passivity in the face of injustice, or turning into a zombie scrolling your phone. It's recognizing that our first and most urgent responsibility is to stop being hostages of our own illusions. Because pain, failure, loneliness, they will all come. But what do you do with them? Do you drown, or do you build a bridge out of the ruins? Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor, not some internet coach, was one of the greatest Stoics to ever live. He wrote during times of plague and war, "Your happiness depends upon the quality of your thoughts." And he wrote those words for himself in secret. They weren't catchy quotes to sell courses, they were intimate confessions. A man at the top of the world, trying not to lose his soul. You know what he understood, and most people still don't. That true power isn't about commanding others, it's about not being a slave to yourself. Today, when everything goes wrong, when chaos comes knocking at my door, I try to remember, maybe I can't control the storm, but I can learn to dance in the rain without drowning in the drama. And between us, that's not weakness, that's real power. Because when you understand that your mind is your only sovereign territory, no one can conquer you again. I know, it sounds harsh to say this, but most of your anguish was taught to you, and you've played the role so well that you don't even remember you were only pretending. You wake up at the right time, follow the same rituals, smile at the right people, pay your debts, resize your dreams to fit the budget, and still blame yourself for it. But who told you that was living? The system built an elegant zoo with plans, goals, and Wi-Fi. They call it freedom. I've heard that fable too, thought I needed more. More money, more influence, more recognition. It's a long race toward emptiness. Then you realize something simple yet brutal. It's not the world that's too tight, it's the collar choking you. The truth is, we got used to the prison. It's comfortable, and it even has a pretty name, stability. But look, even a bird can forget it has wings if it spends its whole life inside a beautiful cage. And that's when change comes. Not the movie kind, with a happy ending and epic music. It's the silent kind, the one that only happens inside. I understood that freedom is the courage to say no when everyone expects your obedience. It's not about doing whatever the hell you want. It's about knowing what controls you and still choosing the right path, not the easiest one. The Stoics called that virtue. But in this modern world, we might call it authority over oneself. Because when you govern your mind, there's no room for corruption. You could be at war like Marcus Aurelius, in exile like Seneca, or enslaved like Epictetus. But if your soul remains untouchable, my friend, you are far freer than any suit-wearing CEO. That's why the greatest lesson of Stoicism isn't to resist, it's to transcend. It's not about turning to stone or becoming numb to the world. It's about keeping your center steady, even when the world collapses around you. It's knowing that even when everything goes wrong, you still own the only thing that matters, your character. And in the end, see, it's just another story. But this one's yours. Freedom is a natural right, and yet so many people remain slaves to themselves. You're still here? That means you either took the hit, or worse, you related to it. But relax, damn it. This isn't an attack, it's just a mirror. And if it hurt, maybe it was supposed to hurt. Because pain reminds you that you're still alive, and that it's still worth fighting. See, most people walk around like automatons. They walk, talk, consume, and rarely ever ask why. If this video felt like a slap in the face, good. It means you're still conscious. Now it's up to you. Click that subscribe button, not to please me, but to avoid getting lost in the algorithmic swamp of human stupidity. Hit the like button, comment if you want to philosophize with me, and if you know someone who needs a slap wrapped in velvet, share this video. And do it before they take it down. because thinking is one of the last acts of rebellion. I'll end it here, but your part starts now.